I'm Algimantas. I live in a small East European country, Lithuania. I represent Creator as his ambassador, an apostle of Jesus and his partner, Nebuchadnezzar. Jesus' spiritual rank is Master Creator Son, and his partners, Nebuchadnezzar's Creator Daughter. They are the two creators and current leaders, rulers of our local universe. In this sky, there are 100,000 local universes. So Jesus and Nebuchadnezzar have created only one of this 100,000 local universes, and including life on this planet and on other planets. When I look at humanity today, I see that humanity is even darker than it was in the times of Jesus. It was common to have religious discussions after the prayer in synagogue, and wise people would respond to different believers' questions about God. Now, when the Mass is over, all people leave church in silence, no interest in God, no interest in Jesus, just to ask questions. To ask questions that interest people, that worry them, and especially now when the world, humanity, is in a complete mess. The 21st century, peace and brotherhood should prevail throughout the planet. But I see military conflicts, crime is flourishing in some parts of either Mexico cities or Brazilian cities. Even the police do not dare to enter because these parts of the countries are being controlled by criminals, criminal gangs. While Jesus, 2,000 years ago, brought his good tidings, his gospel, fatherhood of God and brotherhood of man. Brotherhood of man. I expanded his gospel to the fatherhood and motherhood of God, Creator, and brotherhood and sisterhood of man, soul, and spirit. And not only on this planet, throughout the whole of creation. And I proclaim my own gospel. Creator, the Paradise Trinity I am. These four personalities are real. Creator is real, and He's within each of us, within each of you who are watching me, my spiritual teachings on YouTube. And therefore, it is possible to discover Him within, without even leaving your house, apartment, city, country. Just open up sincerely to Creator every day in some quiet corner. Express yourself sincerely, what you are worried about. And what is the major obstacle for such a sincere communion between the son or the daughter of Creator and Creator himself? Ritualistic approach of different religions to Creator himself. I was asked by Creator to set up the living temple, which I did, and to teach people to worship Creator in 4 personalities. I took oath of loyalty to Creator, the Paradise Trinity I am. I receive his revelations, teachings, published books. Therefore, I know what I speak of, and I can explain to any one of you, be you the president, prime minister, king, queen, Pope of Rome, an ordinary cardinal or bishop, priest, or believer, be you a Muslim believer, worshipping Allah, I may respond, you can answer your every question, whether you are a believer from India, believing in reincarnation, which is not possible, being still immortal in the flesh. There is no such a reincarnation phenomenon on our world. So I want to tell you that currently, even this book, which is called the Holy Bible, I don't know why it's called holy, because it describes a non-existing God who's punishing, annihilating peoples. And this is like a manual, a textbook, that even man might behave in a similar way to kill other brethren. Jesus brought the idea of brotherhood. I promote sincerely opening to Creator and discovering Creator within. Once you discover Creator within, brotherhood becomes just a natural state of your consciousness. You begin to look upon all around you, upon all humanity, upon all creation, spiritual family, as your brethren. You don't have any idea about being able to offend any of your brethren. Nothing speaking about annihilating peoples, like currently is going on in Gaza sector, in the Middle East. Israel is annihilating Palestinians because they have been misled by this so-called holy book. It's not holy book. The Bible, or Bible, it's a Greek word. Bible meaning book. But this book is not holy. It's the story about Jesus, about Jews, their history that was recorded purposefully. Because until it was recorded, people had been passing the history of Jews from lips to lips with a lot of distortions, naturally. And there were such wise people saying, look, it's time to record our history. And they started recording, but of course, with their own inclinations, what is serving their own purpose, to justify their actions, and to justify even the actions of violation, of aggression, and even of annihilation of other tribes. So, currently in the 21st century, there is only one book that is worth your attention. I show this book every time I present my spiritual teaching, the Urantia book. Because this book has not been written by humans. Human mind has no such a imagination that would write such a book about Creator, about his operation in creation, about the creation of creation, the universe, about different segmentation of universe into smaller segments, and upon their control, supervision from a higher hierarchy, spiritual hierarchy. And the evolution of our planet, which is called Urantia. That's why the book is called the Urantia book. And Urantia is our planet's name as registered in the divine annals, archives. And it has its own number. So one contradicting thing, even in the 21st century, because of the distortion of the, well, not the distortion in this case, but because of the absence of information. People, even the New Testament, which is also included in this holy book, even in the New Testament, when they read what's written here, they try to misinterpret. So in Matthew 13:54, and coming to his hometown, Jesus began teaching them in their synagogue, so that they became astonished and said, "Where did this man get this wisdom and these miraculous powers? Is not this the carpenter's son? Is not his mother called Mary, and his brothers James and Joseph, and Simon and Judas? And his sisters, are they not all with us? where then did this man get all these things? And they took offense at him. But Jesus said to them, a prophet is not without honor except in his hometown and in his own household. This book clearly states Jesus had brothers and sisters. And that leads to the fact that he lived in the large family of Mary and Joseph. But the present time priests, or the so-called theologians, try to misinterpret these words of this so-called holy book by claiming that at that time even cousins were called brothers and sisters. That's not true. Cousins were cousins, and today cousins are cousins, while sisters are sisters, brothers are brothers. Of course, it's only the fact stated that people got astonished by the immense power of wisdom of Jesus when he was teaching them in the synagogue. And they were asking one another, isn't he the son of the carpenter? Isn't James, Judas, Simon, are not his brothers? And his sisters are not together with us, live in the same city? It was not stating that his cousins live in this city. So that's why I would like to refer to this book, the Urantia book, and read from the Urantia book about the birth of every child in Mary and Joseph's family. It was given not only precise year of the birth of each child, but also even the part of the day they were born, or the part of the night. So when they returned back to Nazareth, because when Jesus was born in Bethlehem, it was a danger that all the little children would be annihilated due to the decree adopted by Herod, that all kids, babies, should be killed, because he was afraid that there might be some child, promised child, who might take up his position when he grows up. But he didn't know which child, baby in particular, was that child, causing him danger, potential danger. So that's why Joseph took Mary with the baby and they fled Palestine for Egypt. And they spent there several years. So after they returned to Nazareth, The next important event in the life of this Nazareth family was the birth of the second child, James, in the early morning hours of April the 2nd, 3 BC. That is, in the 3rd year before Christ. Jesus was thrilled by the thought of having a baby brother, and he would stand around by the hour just to observe the baby's early activity. The 5th year, when Jesus was on the 5th year, or according to the current calendar, it was the year 2 BC, 2 before Christ. Jesus was 5 years old in August of this year. Yeah, by the way, Jesus was born not in December, but on the exact day, 21st of August. 21st of August. So, Jesus was 5 years old in August of this year. And we will therefore refer to we, that is, the revelators of this part of the Urantia book, epochal revelation book. And we will refer to this as his 5th, and in brackets, calendar year of his life. In this year, 2 BC, a little more than 1 month before his 5th birthday anniversary, Jesus was made very happy by the coming of his sister Miriam, who was born on the night of July 11th. During the evening of the following day, Jesus had a long talk with his Father concerning the manner in which various groups of living things are born into the world as separate individuals. So, it shows already that 3 children are in the Joseph and Mary's family. Let's go on. The 4th member of the Nazareth family, Joseph, was born Wednesday morning, March 16th, AD 1. Already ante Domini, not before Christ. The 4th member. Next child, the 3rd brother, Simon, was born on Friday evening, April 14th of this year, AD 2. The next child, Jesus' second sister, Martha, was born Thursday night, September 13th. 3 weeks after the coming of Martha, Joseph, who was home for a while, started the building of an addition to their house, a combined workshop and bedroom. A small workbench was built for Jesus, and for the first time he possessed tools of his own. At odd times, for many years, he worked at this bench and became highly expert in the making of yokes. So, the second sister Martha was born. Let's go on. On Wednesday evening, June 24th, AD 5, Jude was born. Complications attended the birth of this 7th child, Mary was so very ill for several weeks that Joseph remained at home. Jesus was very much occupied with errands for his father and with many duties occasioned by his mother's serious illness. Never again did this youth find it possible to return to the childlike attitude of his earlier years. From the time of his mother's illness, just before he was 11 years old, he was compelled to assume the responsibilities of the firstborn son, and to do all this 1 or 2 years before these burdens should normally have fallen on his shoulders. I'll read one more passage which is also important. Throughout this year, that is in the 12th year, throughout this year he experienced many seasons of uncertainty, if not actual doubt regarding the nature of his mission. That is, being just 12 years old, he is already thinking about his future mission. And all of a sudden he begins to doubt, to have some worries over his future mission. His naturally developing human mind did not yet fully grasp the reality of his dual nature, that is divine and human. The fact that he had a single personality rendered it difficult for his consciousness to recognize the double origin of those factors which compose the nature associated with that self-same personality. From this time on, he became more successful in getting along with his brothers and sisters. He was increasingly tactful, always compassionate, and considerate of their welfare and happiness, and enjoyed good relations with them up to the beginning of his public ministry. To be more explicit, he got along with James, Miriam, and the 2 younger, in brackets, as yet unborn, children, Amos and Ruth, most excellently. He always got along with Martha fairly well. What trouble he had at home largely arose out of frictions with Joseph and Jude, particularly the latter. So not everything was proceeding smoothly in his relationship with Joseph and Jude. When Jesus was 13 years old, 13th year, on Sunday night, January 9th, AD 7, his baby brother Amos was born. Jude was not yet 2 years old, and his baby sister Ruth was yet to come. So it may be seen that Jesus had a sizable family of small children left to his watch care when his father, Joseph, met his accidental death the following year. That is, when Jesus was 14 years old. He became both the elder brother and father to all this large family. So, I'm looking for for the exact time when Amos was born. I've already read this. So the last child that Mary gave birth to appeared on the world when Jesus was 15 years old. By the middle of this 15th year, and we are reckoning time in accordance with the 20th century calendar, not by the Jewish year, Jesus had taken a firm grasp upon the management of his family. Before this year had passed, their savings had about disappeared, and they were face to face with the necessity of disposing of one of the Nazareth houses, which Joseph and his neighbor Jacob owned in partnership. On Wednesday evening, April 17th, AD 9, Ruth, the baby of the family, was born. And to the best of his ability, Jesus endeavored to take the place of his father in comforting and ministering to his mother during this trying and particularly sad ordeal. For almost a score of years, why it was a sad ordeal, because Ruth was born when Jesus had already, not Jesus, his father, Joseph, had already accidentally met his unfortunate death on the construction site. And that was less than a year ago. So that's why the last child who arrived into the family, of course, brought happiness, but it was a very, very sad ordeal due to the death of the father of the family, Joseph. For almost a score of years, in brackets, until Jesus began his public ministry, the brackets are closed, no father could have loved and nurtured his daughter any more affectionately and faithfully than Jesus cared for little Ruth. And he was an equally good father to all the other members of his family. Now, just figure out. These are the facts taken from the divine archives. Because every action, every thought of mine, of yours, are being permanently registered by our seraphim and by Creator Spirit indwelling our mind, the thought adjuster. Nothing is missing. Everything is registered. Whether you think good or evil thoughts, everything is registered. Therefore, you cannot hide anything from Creator. You can't even hide from yourselves. So all these facts are registered, and the divine annals, archives, are keeping them. And when the time came to present this part of the epochal revelation, the Urantia book, concerning the life and teachings of Jesus, the revelators referred to the archival material that no man had any possibility to get to. So that's why what is written here concerning the brothers and sisters of Jesus, it's exactly what people were thinking about, that astonishing teaching given by Jesus in the synagogue. And they were referring to his other brothers and sisters, not cousins. And this book gave just an enumeration and the time of Jesus' sisters and brothers' appearance on this world. Therefore, take this book, the Urantia book, into your hands and begin to read it. You will open a new horizon in your outlook upon creation, upon this world, upon evolution, upon Darwin's evolutionary theory, and upon yourselves. And then you will take in my teachings with an absolutely different approach. I never lie. Never. Whatever I'm saying, it's the truth.